Hi. Can you tell me your name?
Gladys Brown Wiggins.
And what's your occupation?
I'm the airport director.
Okay. And your any education?
I've got a bachelor's of science in mechanical engineering and a master's in business administration. So
Okay. Is that okay if I ask you a few questions?
absolutely.
All right. The first one, did you know that when applying for a job, they check your credit?
Yes, because I check everyone's credit when they apply for a job with me.
Okay. And can you tell me why they do it?
We typically do it one to see, as far as responsibilities go, if they have a long history of being delinquent, then it lets me know how much as far as the responsibilities of keeping track of their income and then also liability to see if there's other reasons why they may kind of jump around or if they leave multiple places. It gives me information on their addresses and then also all of the open history of credit cards, debt that they may have, debt that they went delinquent, bill collecting, whether it went and got closed. So it tells me a lot more than just running their history. But I don't just run credit checks. I also do criminal checks too.
Oh,
So
that's
I do
cool.
both. Yeah.
Can you cancel a credit card?
Yes, we can cancel.
And does it affect you in a positive or negative way?
Typically, it's in a negative way, but the way I look at it is if you can't be responsible with your credit cards, it's going to get negative anyway. So typically, when you close the credit card, they look at it as if it's almost just as bad as not paying it. And so a lot of times they say keep it open, charge it once in a while, and then pay it back down. So it's better just to have a zero balance. But unfortunately, a lot of people can't be responsible, so that's why you have to cancel it.
Okay. Do you have a credit history?
Yes, I have a very long credit history.
And is there a way to improve your credit?
Yes, there's lots of ways to improve your credit. So, for example, when I was dating my husband, he didn't have like the best credit history, and it wasn't very positive. And the way we rebuilt it was one to look and run a credit report, and then after we ran the credit report, we looked at I went and seen which ones were delinquent, and then I called the companies and then either settled, which is not very good. So you shouldn't always settle with your credit card companies because people who have credit cards don't like that because it fluctuates the interest rate. But I paid off those and so kind of resolved those and then opened up other credit card, like another credit card. Sounds really bad, but opened up another credit card with a good, that has a good backing to it, like Bank of America or Chase. And then I would charge things but pay them off within 30 days. And so I would do that maybe every other month or so, and then that way it kind of built it up, and it showed a history. So over a few years it began to build his credit better. And the same thing I would, if I needed to, or if he did it on his own, if he opened up a credit card, I just, you charge it and then just make sure you pay it off in the 30 days, because that's kind of, or the 23 days. People don't realize when you charge it, a lot of times they bill you in 23 days. So that's a way to build your credit.
Okay. Now, how do you keep track of your money? Do you use ATM or a checkbook?
I actually use electronic banking online, but I use a checkbook though, so I still write checks to different creditors. But the majority of everything I do is electronic, and so I balance through the checkbook if like my husband has to pay a check to like a basketball thing or a football thing, but typically everything's electronic and a point of sales. But I still balance a balance sheet, or I do everything electronically and I balance it on like a QuickBooks or an Excel spreadsheet. So I actually keep a history of all the bills of when they're due, and then that way something ever happened, he can just pull that and know what's due and when it's due. So that way nothing's ever delinquent. So
And how often do you balance it?
I balance it at least anytime I'm going to do a transaction. But typically what happens, and some people will do this, I create a buffer. So I'll balance maybe twice a week, but then I know the buffer I have. So for some people have thousands of dollars of a buffer because they do thousands of dollars of expenses. Ours is not so substantial, so I'll keep in one account I'll keep like a $200-300 buffer just for those that I pay bills on. But there's buffers in other places too. But typically, if I know that that's where the money will pull from, I'll go and create that buffer. Yeah.
The last question is, can you have more than one credit card?
You can't have more than one credit card.
And does it help to have more than one credit card?
It helps if you know how to be responsible with the first credit card and the second one. So it all depends on the user. So why do you have multiple credit cards is because they may serve different things. So if you're going to open a credit card, just remember you're going to pay it within that first 23 days. So I always tell people that charge it and then pay it down. If I could say anything to young folks, that's what I would say, or never get the credit card. Because there's other ways you can build your credit. You don't always need a credit card. It's just way too convenient, but you have to remember it's borrowed money with a high interest. So you just think if every dollar you spend, you had to pay that guy 25 cents of that dollar, would you be spending $20 all the time if you know that you're going to have to pay him or her, $5 every time you spend the 20? And a lot of people say, well, if I borrow 20, paying you back 25 is not too bad. I said, yeah, but it's not just 25. Over time, if you don't pay them back within, 6 months, it actually turns into $45. So that's the thing, is that you might make a purchase today for $100, but if you don't pay it back and you take 6 months to pay it back, you actually pay them back almost $200 to $300, depending on how high your interest is. Yeah, so that's what I would say on that one.
All right. Well, thank you, Gladys.
So funny. Huh?
Can I start with your name?
Joni Brown Vidal.
All right. And do you have an occupation?
Yes, I am a manager.
Okay. And do you have any educational history?
Yes, I am currently getting my associates in arts and business foundations.
All right. I'm just going to ask you a few questions related to personal finances. Number one, did you know that when applying for a job, they check your credit?
No, I did not.
Okay. And can you cancel a credit card?
Yes, you can.
And does it affect you in a positive or negative way?
I'm sorry, repeat the question?
Does canceling a credit card affect you in a positive or negative way?
Negative way.
Okay. Do you have a credit history?
Yes, I do.
And is there a way to improve your credit?
Yes, there is. Do you need me to explain that way?
Yeah, and can you tell me how you first started building your credit?
The way I started building my credit is I did two things. I got a real small credit card with a department store that I was working for, which was Mervyn's at the time, and my credit limit was like $200. And the other thing that I did do is when I purchased a car for the first time, my father co-signed with me. So that assisted me in building my credit.
Okay. How do you keep track of your money? Do you use a ATM or a checkbook or anything other? Or any others?
I actually use an Excel spreadsheet, similar to a balance sheet that you might, or a check register book that you might find with your checkbooks. We just do the basics, the balance, the income, expenses, and also with the expenses, I do double check it throughout the month for the fees and any automatic payments that come out.
And how often do you balance it?
Did you say something? Because the thing cut off on us.
Oh, yeah. I said, how often do you balance it? Do you need me to repeat that again?
She did.
Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry. Say that again. Now you just got connected back. So what
Oh,
happened?
okay. How often do you balance it?
Your credit card, Joni. Your checkbook, Joni.
Can you hear me?
Now, yeah, you kind of paused on yourself. Oh, hold on. Stop your video and then.
Hi. Can you tell me what your name is
My name is Mark Salvin.
and what your occupation is?
I am a security kind of guard guy at the Crest Club downtown.
Okay. And do you have any educational background?
I am currently in college in my second year at AWC.
All right. And is that okay that I ask you a few questions?
Yes.
Okay. The first one, did you know that when applying for a job, they check your credit?
Yes.
And can you tell me why they do it?
I believe they do it to find out whether or not you are responsible with the money that you're going to be being rewarded by this company that you could potentially work for.
Okay. Can you cancel a credit card?
Yes, you can cancel a credit card.
And does it affect you in a positive or a negative way?
I believe canceling a credit card can affect you in a negative way, more so than a positive way. More negative than positive.
Okay. And do you have a credit history?
Yes,
And is there a way to improve your credit history?
all the time.
All the time? Okay. And can you tell me how you first started building your credit?
I first started building my credit with a card that was provided from the military store called a Star Card. It was my first kind of credit card. And I got like maybe $500 or something. And I think it was like 3 or 200 goes to like military clothing, and like 300 you can use on like the PX and stuff like that. It was my first credit card.
All right. And the next one, how do you keep track of your money? Do you use ATM or checkbook or any other?
I use a online banking service, so I track my money online all the time.
Okay. And how often do you balance it?
I check my, I guess, online or the book pretty much about once a week.
Once a week. All right. And the last question is, can you have more than one credit card?
Yes.
And does it help to have more than one credit card?
It doesn't look too good when you have just a bunch of credit cards from all kinds of places. I think if you can minimize your, I guess, debt or consolidate your debt into like 2 or 3 credit cards, it's pretty good than to have like 6 or 7 different cards from like all these different stores. But that's just me.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.